Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Holy bombshell of all bombshells. Now look, I'm never going to go on the record and definitively say that Joe Biden is definitely going to prison this time. That kind of copium is reserved specifically for out-of-their-mind blue anon wackos on Twitter, but I certainly will report on all of the news stories suggesting that Joe Biden is a criminal and where he belongs is in a cold, damp prison cell. Friends, it's not me saying it, it's an ex-Obama staffer, specifically the ex-White House stenographer, who is now claiming that he can testify and provide evidence suggesting Joe Biden was involved and Joe Biden is guilty in the Biden family illegal influence peddling scheme involving the Biden family, Ukrainian officials, and of course, Burisma natural gas. Let's take a look at what the man has to say. He seems pretty sure of himself. He is specifically saying, I have the evidence to put Joe Biden behind bars, or at the very least, to get him impeached. Let me show you guys what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at this. Ex-Obama staffer blows whistle on Biden, quote, kickback scheme after Hunter Biden joined Burisma. Malfeasance in office. A former Obama administration staffer is blowing the whistle on the Biden family's business dealings, accusing President Biden of being involved in a kickback scheme in connection with his son Hunter's overseas business dealings while he was vice president. Mike McCormick, a stenographer for the White House for 15 years, told Fox and Friends first that the FBI has been ignoring his alarms on the matter despite his willingness to testify under oath before the federal grand jury investigating Hunter. McCormick, who worked with Biden from 2011 to 2017, detailed a key dialogue involving the vice president, aide Jake Sullivan, and the press on Air Force Two before a trip to Kyiv, Ukraine on April 21, 2014. Sullivan, who is the current national security advisor, outlined in a White House transcript Biden's priorities for his trip to the country, which included U.S. investment in the Ukrainian energy sector, days after Hunter Biden joined the board of Burisma, according to the New York Post. Months later, and well after the trip, Congress allocated $50 million to Ukraine's energy market. I'm sitting back there with a tape recorder. Jake Sullivan comes back and somebody asks about fracking. His answer is, we're bringing a lot of American assistance over for fracking. Burisma was the direct beneficiary of that fracking, and that's what I recorded. And that's in a White House transcript, McCormick said. In the transcript, you don't know who Jake Sullivan is. It's a senior administration official. I'm the witness that says Jake Sullivan is the guy who said it, and he should be investigated because at the time, Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma and Joe Biden is bringing American taxpayer money to enrich that company and himself and his family, he continued. Hunter joined the board for the Ukrainian natural gas firm on April 18th, just 3 days before Biden and his team traveled to Kyiv, but the critical piece of the puzzle was not made public until May 12. McCormick argued that the timeline of the events suggests that Biden funneled American money overseas to enrich himself and his family, and used his own influence to aid his son's rookie energy career. The former stenographer made it clear that he wants to present the information under oath before the grand jury in Delaware probing Hunter's business dealings, which is led by U.S. Attorney David Weiss. Take a look at what Mike McCormick said on Jesse Waters' show just the other night.
I went to the FBI and filled out their witness tip line. There's a website. You fill out all these tips, these web directions. I submitted it. If you lie to the FBI when you're submitting a tip like that, you can go to jail. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. Joe Biden is lying. Joe Biden is a criminal. That's the bottom line. I don't care if he goes to Timbuktu or Ireland or anywhere. He's a criminal. And I've got the evidence. If they put me in front of the grand jury that's right now seated in Wilmington with Special Prosecutor David Weiss, my testimony becomes the evidence that will put him in jail or will lead to his impeachment. Probably lead to his impeachment first.
So you're saying that Joe Biden wasn't going to Ukraine to fight corruption. Joe Biden was going to Ukraine to help the natural gas industry. At the time, he knew that his son was on the board of the biggest natural gas business conglomerate in Ukraine.
That's exactly right. You know, Hunter Biden signed up for this trip. He signed up to be on Burisma on April 18th, 2014. Well, on April 16th, 2014, what I've seen in the laptop was Hunter put a schedule, something on his daily schedule. I'm meeting Devin and Lucas, Devin Archer's son. Devin Archer is a fellow Burisma board member at the WH at 11. That's the White House. There's photos of of Devin Archer and his son Lucas in the White House. The cover story was, oh, it's a book report for my son. He's being nice with Joe Biden. That's not what it was. This was a planning meeting for them to start their kickback scheme with Burisma. And there was a lot more planning that went on ahead of it.
How much more is it gonna take? And probably a better question, how are we focused on non-existent crimes of Donald Trump and the Trump family when the evidence against the Biden crime syndicate continues to pile up? There are multiple Biden associates who have identified payments, bank transactions, identified Joe Biden as 10% the big guy. Now we have the White House stenographer who worked directly for Biden for 6 years, blowing the whistle, pointing the finger directly at Joe Biden saying this man is corrupt, this man used his office of the vice presidency of the United States to engage in corrupt business dealings, using his influence and taxpayer dollars to enrich his family, and not a freaking peep, we're still talking about Donald Trump's stupid $130,000 NDA payment? Not to mention, it's not just a White House staffer, it's the former Obama White House stenographer, the guy who literally records everything, listens to everything, and creates official White House transcripts. This guy followed Joe Biden and Biden staffers around and cataloged everything they did and said, and he's coming out and saying that the reason they went to Ukraine was to strike a corrupt business dealing to enrich themselves off a $50 million Congress-approved taxpayer stimulus directly to the company that Hunter Biden was working at in Ukraine. I mean, this is a bombshell of all bombshells. When it came to Donald Trump, the mainstream media standard was plant a random low-level staffer in the White House, then that low-level staffer just does a media tour with these ridiculous, outlandish claims, targeting the Trump administration. Every one of those situations ends up falling flat, or some random anonymous leak or anonymous source, a source familiar with the situation. You know, bogus story after bogus story from untrustworthy, non-credible sources, but now there's a White House stenographer joining the mountain of evidence of key business associates, bank records and all like I just mentioned, and again, no peep. It shows you the double standard. It shows you how the mainstream media is complicit, how they work tirelessly to criminalize Donald Trump and his organization, while simultaneously working as hard as humanly possible to defend Joe Biden and other Democrats like him. The man is a criminal. There is no other possible explanation. You don't enter public service making a modest six-figure salary, and then somehow, unexplainably, find yourself in these positions where you're miraculously making millions upon millions of dollars a year, not only for yourself, but for your entire family. That just doesn't happen. Again, like I always say, the Bidens produce nothing. They don't do anything. Hunter Biden was a crackhead, smoking rock cocaine in various hotel rooms across the world, doing nothing but meeting with escorts for years, while making millions upon millions of dollars. Jim Biden, again, I have no idea what the guy does. Joe was just a lazy politician who just shuffles around and spends most of his time in Delaware, and somehow these guys are making millions. No, you make millions by producing, by actually doing something, providing a service or creating products, engaging in transactions. The Bidens don't engage in any transactions, outside of peddling their influence in government. That's how they make their money. It's clear, and it continues to get even clearer. As again, the evidence continues to pile up, there's a real distinction between all the Trump cases and the Biden case, and that major distinction is actual evidence. The Biden crime family must be held accountable. Mr. Mike McCormick must be allowed to testify in front of the grand jury related to Hunter Biden and the Biden family business deals. That's what I got for you guys, though. That's the video. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.